Unapologetically Me. Let me just start by saying Happy New Year to you, and 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 yes, even to you way over there, and well, maybe not so much. Hell. And Happy New Year to you too. Why not? It is the Wednesday after Christmas, which means it is the day before the New Year. So let me start by saying this will not be a video on New Year's resolutions, but I've spent the last 2 weeks or so deliberating over where exactly to take this channel, so the timing is rather serendipitous. I've popped out a few videos, took the channel for a test drive, and now it's really time to decide what it is I want to do with it. But for me, that's easier said than done. So, this episode is not about religion, it is not about New Year's resolutions, it's about mental health, namely mine. And it's about defeating those metaphorical demons. So stick with me. If not educational, this video at the very least should be interesting. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Both will help my channel grow and reach more people. So if you've already done so, thank you very much. All right, guys, let's do this. All right, so when I started Unapologetically Me, I had two very substantial themes running through my head. First, I wanted to counter some of the very, very bad religious arguments that I keep hearing and to lend my voice to the atheist community, hence the unapologetic. Second, I wanted to let loose and make this channel a platform where I can just be me, unapologetically. See what I did there with the double meaning? But which one is more important, talking about religion or being myself? I had to ask myself, are the two mutually inclusive or exclusive? And I decided yes and yes. My religious experience left me with a lot to say. It infected every single facet of my life, from how I raised my kids, to my relationship with my husband, to how I dressed, to most importantly, my relationship with myself. But there's a lot more to me than just my religious experiences. Atheism does not define me, it just identifies where I stand on one simple, yet entirely complex and perplexing question. Do you believe in a God or gods? In order to be unapologetically me, I have to give myself the freedom to branch out beyond religion and discuss, well, whatever I want to. Sometimes I want to talk about mental health, like today. I want to talk about parenting, relationships, hobbies, lifestyle, whatever. Because there's just more to me than a lack of a belief in God. And it starts here with this video. But why was this such a complicated decision for me to make? This is where I get an opportunity to really be unapologetically me, in the raw and real. I suffer from a lot of social anxiety. Maybe it's just all my nature, but I suspect there's a lot more to it than that, which I'll get to in a second. When thinking about where to take my channel, there's been a lot of internal conflict. On the one hand, I'm thinking, I want to discuss the complexities of sex and gender. Today, I want to talk about the atmosphere on distant planets. You know what's been on my mind a lot lately? Unicorns and centaurs and the merits of a war between them. But on the other hand, I can't help thinking people will expect you to stay on point and be consistent. To grow an audience, you have to give people what they want. You started as an atheist channel discussing religion, you need to stick to it. That's what people already expect. Okay, so where the fuck did all those voices and all this social anxiety come from? Enter daddy issues. I told myself that out of respect for an individual whom I don't actually hold any respect for, I would talk about anything and everything except my dad. But, especially in this case, his influence on my life has been profound. Let's take just a quick peek into my past and some of the many instances that may very well have lent themselves toward conditioning me to care so much about other people's opinions that my heart was beating even just thinking about doing this video. Man, it's like every morning when I have cereal, I get so nauseated when I eat breakfast. Just make sure you don't tell anybody that. They'll think you're pregnant. I feel like I get colds so much more often than everybody else. I think I have like a really weak immune system or something.
Make sure you don't tell anybody that. They will think you have AIDS. Chili's is my favorite. All right, kids, before we go in, be good. You don't want them thinking that we're a bunch of white trash. They'll think pregnant. People might think AIDS. People will say you're gonna make them think. Don't make them think. You know, if you do that, they'll think.
That kind of programming over the course of an entire childhood can become deeply embedded in your psyche, and it's difficult to ignore. So, add that to my two dysfunctional love affairs with religions, both of whom oppress personality, discourage individuality, and focus entirely on the pleasing of a supreme being. And it makes a sick sort of sense that I care an exorbitant amount about what other people think. Now, don't get me wrong, it hasn't stopped me. I'm still the me who is expressive and outgoing and always tries to live her own truth. The one who walks her own path, often appearing to be a rebel against social norms. But it does cause internal conflict. I feel sick in new social settings. I'm hypervigilant, not just about actual threats, but about the perceptions that other people have for me. I'm also always worried that I'm not doing well enough, performing to a high enough standard, or that I'll get in trouble if I step out of line even a little bit, which will cause people to think negatively about me. How's that for a social rebel? Not very rebellious. So, what does all this dysfunction have to do with this channel? In short, everything. Unapologetically Me is one small step toward exercising that demon. It's not just a way to participate in public discourse, it's a way to do it with abandon and without fear. It's not just a way to attack bad ideas, it's a way to be transparent about the impact that those bad ideas had on my life. It's also a way to work toward a solution to those bad ideas. So, what am I doing about my social anxiety? As always, I'm pushing past it, but not without help. Prior to this video, I reached out to friends and family to tell them my concerns about where to take this channel. So, honestly and sincerely, it is with their encouragement that I am feeling more secure in embracing the in unapologetic. Their voices helped to counteract the one that has been so deeply rooted into my subconscious. It's like social programming, but in reverse. And every little bit helps. So, to those of you who gave me advice this week and encouragement, thank you so much. But eventually, it's going to have to just be up to me to truly overcome the need to please everyone and let go of the concern about what people are going to think. I need to be able to step out on my own, to be able to find my own strength rather than always leaning on the encouragement of others. My hope is that unapologetically me will be just one avenue to get me there. So, there are no New Year's resolutions here. No goals to reach, no promises to do better. This is just my unapologetic foray into my inner psyche and my desire to continue to pound those demons into submission. After all, I wouldn't be myself if I wasn't being real. So, doing an episode like this so early on is really important to me. Unapologetically Me is a part of my continued efforts to look social anxiety in the face and tell it to go fuck itself. And it's also my way of making the conversation more public. Because if we don't talk about the issues we have, we end up all feeling alone. Like we're the only ones with this problem or that problem. When in fact, there are so many people out there who share similar experiences. I never tend to even know this until I say something. And suddenly, all the, hey, I know how you feels, and hey, me too's come out of nowhere. And then suddenly I realize that this is a normal human experience. So, if you're listening and anything sounds familiar, just know that you're not alone. If you happen to be someone who's already come up with tips or tricks for defeating social anxieties, please post them in the comment below. I'm sure we can all learn from each other and maybe even expand the conversation a little bit. Wow, that felt really, really good. And honestly, that's all I've got for today. Except to say that I wish you guys all a smashing new year. Not smashing like an asteroid strike because that's all we need right now. I mean, smashing like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I mean. Have a good New Year's. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for subscribing and hitting that like button. I will catch you next time. In the meantime, be curious, ask questions, challenge the status quo if it totally sucks, and forget what others think of you. You're awesome. Okay? That's it. Bye.
just way too funny.
Are you still
I'm recording.
That's awesome. I'm gonna take some off of that.